it's weird that they have the Kraken thing. I was thinking at first, I was like, why do they have a Kraken? I don't, and of course I'm sitting here thinking, release the Kraken! Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here. Today we're going to be reviewing the Doctor Who Easter Special, Legends of the Sea Devils. Where to begin with this one? I will start off by saying I really like the Sea Devils design. I love the fact it very much looks like the classic Sea Devil design. They really did go out of their way for continuity here with how they look. They do look like a nice little, slightly modernizing to get, to make the face move a little more, but they really do look like the classic Sea Devils. I like that. Even if their outfits are a little more sophisticated, more like Warriors of the Deep, which again, since Warriors of the Deep exists, there's a precedent for that. I like that they made the voice on kind of the leader of them a little better, because that was one problem I always had with the Sea Devils, was their voice in the classic series. That whisper voice always grated on me. So I like that it kind of sticks with that, but it makes it more menacing. It does give it more of a growl to it. That sounds a lot better, and I like that. But I like the fact the mouth still moves in that slow, small way, like the mouths for the Sea Devils do in Classic Who. I enjoy that continuity as well. I like their outfits. They still have that little nod to the webbing in the original Sea Devils, because you can see the kind of webbing look on their armor. That's pretty neat. I like the swords. I seem to recall them having swords in Warriors of the Deep, if I remember right. And it makes sense that they would have swords back then instead of guns, I guess. I enjoy that. I like the swords look kind of like lightsabers. That's cool. So the Sea Devils themselves, I was really impressed with. Some of the cinematography looks really good. Some of the shots, like the opening shot, looks nice. Some of the other shots of the ships in it. Some of the camera work is really impressive, I think. I think the weak point is the story itself. The story doesn't really grip me. It has a Deus Ex Machina ending, I think, which is kind of tropey in Classic Who. It happens not Classic Who, in Doctor Who. And it happens a lot where the Doctor has to be really clever, talk really fast, hope something happens, take the credit, basically. Right at the beginning, I knew the one guy was in trouble, right? When he's like telling his son, if anything happens to me, you have to carry on the tradition in the family line. I'm sitting here going, this guy's boned. This guy is so boned. This guy is like, needs a trophy for getting boned. Yeah, I knew that wasn't going to end well for him. Seeing the statue of the Sea Devil was pretty cool. But I don't know. The story isn't necessarily bad. It's weird that they have the Kraken thing. I was thinking at first, I was like, why do they have a Kraken? And of course I'm sitting here thinking, release the Kraken! But I just, it's kind of weird. I did like that turned out just to be a ship, kind of like, even though that's already been done in Doctor Who, for people who have seen Terror of the Zygons, we know this has been done before. This story does kind of borrow from other Doctor Who stories, better Doctor Who stories. Of course, like Yaz at the end, she talks to the Doctor about courage is a matter of being hurt and getting on, whatever it is she says, which is basically paraphrasing the third Doctor's speech from Planet of the Daleks. Courage isn't a matter of being afraid, it's doing it even though you'll know you'll get hurt. And of course, I'm sitting here going, I've heard that line said better by a better actor. I really like the scene when they're on the ship and the Doctor gets knocked down by the Sea Devil, and it shows that shot of the Sea Devil walking down the stairs from underneath the stairs. It's very much reminds me of Return of the Jedi when Darth Vader's walking down the stairs, almost like that's a little homage to that. There's a couple other little ones there that escaped me too, a couple little Easter egg things. I was like, hey, that makes me think of this. Hey, that makes me think of this. That was pretty neat. The ship flying is weird. It looks more like it's done to be a spectacle. I really think this story is more style over substance, which is something the Chibnall era has kind of done a bit. I don't like the story as much as I do Eve of the Daleks. I do like Eve of the Daleks better. I enjoyed some of the fight scenes with the swords at the end. That was pretty nifty. I enjoyed the little sword fight at the end. I didn't really care for the woman playing the captain, the female captain. I forget people's names, but the female captain. The actress playing her, which may be a phenomenal actress, I don't know, but she was, but her character was all over the place for me. Like, at first, she's badass pirate captain who can whoop your ass, and then she's, they have my children. I have to get my crew back. I need them. Like, she's about to cry, and then at the end, she's comic relief. Don't ever do that again. No. It's like they don't know what to do with her character. Her character is just everywhere. And don't get me wrong, human beings are complex people who can be all these things, but she doesn't feel, she feels like 3 two-dimensional characters instead of 1 three-dimensional character. She's this at one point, and this at one point, and don't touch me like this at one point. It's just, her character's all over the place. I don't connect with it. The son, the one with the jewel around his neck is, alright. Now, the captain from the past, the one that was in the suspended animation, the male captain, I liked his character. And how it turned out he was just trying to save his crew. I enjoyed that. Even though the bit where he has to sacrifice himself at the end has kind of become tropey in the Chibnall era for me. I'm kind of tired of, even in modern Doctor Who, just, don't worry, Doctor, you get out of here. I will sacrifice myself because you must live so we can have another series. It's kind of, at that point. I mean, the whole thing where the Doctor's like, okay, I got to do this and reverse this and reverse this, and this will all implode. We have to get out of here before it explodes, and I've got, like, the Super Metroid escape theme running through my head so she can get back to her ship before the planet explodes. I'm like, I don't hate this episode, though. I don't hate it. I actually like Whittaker in this episode. Whittaker, to me, is... I like her as an actress. I don't know if I like her as a leading actress. Also, just a little nitpick, her voice gets on my nerves for some reason. It grates with me. That Yorkshire, or Yorkshire, however you say it, that accent really does to me. Which isn't her fault, but it does. And I just want to point that out. But she's good in this, but because of those little things that bother me, I can't quite click with her. But she is better. Her doctor is better. I mean, her doctor does act like the Doctor. Her doctor is very in control of the situation. She doesn't feel on the back foot here, which has been my main complaint against her. She does feel like she's grown as a character. She is in control. I like how she's lying to the Sea Devil, very Troughton style at one point. Even though it's weird in the story why the Sea Devil just doesn't kill her. It falls into that trope of, let me tell you my whole plan. And I don't quite get that. Even though the Sea Devil's like, don't think I don't actually want to kill you, Doctor. Let me tell you more of my plan. I don't really get that. You know, I really think that's kind of plot convenience. Plot convenience for the sake of plot convenience. Plot convenience is convenient. There you go. When he should have just, yeah, come down to my ship. Oh, I stabbed you in the back. And of course, the Doctor is trying to be clever there, finding out what's going on. And of course, the Sea Devil's falling for it because... But I do like her in this, because she does seem like she's usually in control of the situation. She never seems like she's floundering or behind here, and I have to give credit for that. As much as some of my viewers might get angry, I have to give credit for that. You know, I'm always going to give you guys my honest opinion. I don't ever slant my opinion because of what I think it might be what people want to hear. I'm going to give my opinion. Yaz in this, that's fine. I like Dan in this. Dan is really good as comic relief. I enjoy. He has his serious moments, but I like him as comic relief. I mean, John Bishop is a comedian, so that's right in his wheelhouse. I love when he shows up in the pirate outfit. That's hilarious. I love that whole little interplay there. To be honest, one of the things I really like about this story, and some of the past few stories, is I love the relationship between Dan and Yaz. That very buddy-buddy friendly relationship. I would love to see a spinoff just with Dan and Yaz. They have a really good camaraderie and a great rapport with each other. And I love this friendly banter they have where they can pick each other. My friends and I are like that. Like my best friend and I have been friends for over 20 years, and we can banter and pick at each other like that. Most of my closest friends have. Some of the best relationships I've ever been in, dating-wise, are people we can joke like that. We can pick at each other and banter with each other and just go back and forth. I love that kind of thing. So I enjoy that obviously they care about each other as friends, but they can still needle each other. I love that. There's a lot of that. You know, we really saw that growing in Flux, especially in like episode 5, I think it was, when they were together for like 3 years. We saw that in Eve of the Daleks a little bit. We really see that here, and I really, really like that. I like when the Doctor has a relationship like that with a companion where they can pick at each other like that. I think Dan and Yaz have a better relationship than the Doctor and Yaz. Getting to that, I actually feel like they handle that pretty well. And let me explain my reasoning on that. Listening to the Doctor explain her side of it makes logical sense for the Doctor, and especially this Doctor, of her talking about why she likes it, why if it was anyone it would be Yaz, which is fine. I'm not a big fan of the Doctor in relationships, period. But I have nothing against, if she's going to be in one, it being a same-gender relationship. That doesn't bother me. I've just never been big on the Doctor in relationships at all. I prefer more classic Who when they're just companions. But if she is going to be in one, I don't mind it being Yaz. That, in fact, I'm a little burned out on it because it's been done to death in modern Who, the Doctor and the companion. It makes sense. Let me explain why. She talks about how, you know, eventually I'll just get hurt. Time runs out. It only lasts so long. Ticking time. And basically what it boils down to is the Doctor lives a lot longer than any human does. This builds on stuff that's been mentioned in Doctor Who before. You think of School Reunion when the 10th Doctor is talking to Roses. You grow old and you die. But I don't. I live on. That's the curse of the Time Lords. So this is building off stuff that's been established in Doctor Who. Building off that of, you know, you grow old and you die, but I live on. That's my curse. Because while a Time Lord isn't immortal, from our point of view, from a human's point of view, in our short lifespan, by comparison, it might as well be immortality to us, because the Doctor is going to live so much longer than Yaz, and watch her grow old, and watch her die, much like Connor MacLeod with his wife Heather in Highlander, which is why Connor MacLeod didn't date again for a long time. That's painful. And you think of how many people the Doctor at her age now that she cares about, not just romantically, but friends she's seen gone, like the Brigadier and stuff, people she's lost just due to time. And that does take its toll. We see this in other times. Think about, too, the 13th Doctor was born when the 12th Doctor was extremely upset. Think about the events of the 12th Doctor's real final story, Doctor Falls and World Enough of Time. You know, he lost Bill. He lost Bill tragically. You know, she got shot in the chest, which she wouldn't, all of this wouldn't have happened to her if she hadn't been traveling with him. She got converted into a Cyberman. And, you know, think of all the trauma and hurt he's going through from that. Then he goes through the whole events of Twice Upon a Time when he's seeing all the memories of these people, you know, and you all go away, you know, you all die, you all fade. All the stuff he says to the glass figures at the end. So all of that's on his mind as he regenerates into the 13th Doctor. And I do think a Doctor can influence their next incarnation. You know, I think the events of Twice Upon a Time with the first Doctor influenced one of the reasons why the second Doctor is so, no, we have to stay and help. Like in the Moon Base, no, I have to fix things. I have to put this right. I've got to help people. Because the second Doctor is all about helping people. Same way with Power of the Daleks. He doesn't want to leave. He wants to help. And I think that's because of everything the first Doctor goes through in Twice Upon a Time, subconsciously influenced him in his second incarnation. So I think everything that Capaldi has gone through, including stuff like losing River and what just happened with Bill and everything he is going through emotionally as he regenerates into 13, influences 13. And that could be one of the reasons why 13 is so closed off. And she is. 13 is very closed off emotionally. We've discussed this before. She has a hard time making an emotional connection to her companions. Just with friendship, she struggles, as we see in that scene with Graham about the cancer. So imagine a romantic relationship, how hard that would be for her, especially considering, you know, she's lost, you know, her wife with River and other relationships. You look at everything that happened to her with Rose, that could still be on her mind. She's lost people. They all go away. Like the song Hurt, you know, everyone, you know, goes away in the end. And she doesn't want to go through that hurt again. And seeing that I think opens up the relationship a little bit. I still think it's a toxic relationship because Yaz is too in love with her. You should never fall that head over heels in love with someone that clearly isn't reciprocating that back. Even if maybe they feel that way, for some reason they can't let themselves give that back to you for whatever reason. You know, that's just a deadly trap to fall in. You don't want to fall into that. So it's still a toxic relationship, but it's nice to see the doctor's point of view of that and why she pretends not to see it. All of the scenes, I think, in this episode that touch on them together are actually really well done and actually really well acted by both of them. I like when they're in the TARDIS. Even the bit leading up to that, I'll circle back around to this. I like when they're in the TARDIS and they go underwater. And the doctor has that childlike wonder. Oh, I get to go underwater. Yes. Because that's very the doctor. And Yaz calls her out. Oh, you're acting like a child. You act like a child sometimes. The doctor's just like, sometimes. That is a very doctor moment. That is the exact kind of thing I could see Troughton saying. Or Tom Baker saying. That kind of, what's the point of being grown up? You can't be childish sometimes. Because Troughton has that childlike wonder. A lot of the doctors have that childlike wonder. Matt Smith has it. Even Hartnell has that childlike wonder sometimes. I enjoy that. And Whittaker has that nice little childlike wonder and excitement of what she's doing, being able to look underwater. That is very much the doctor. And I love that. And then right after that, when they talk about the relationship, not bad on a date, eh? And you see Yaz and the doctor's face is like, oh, oop, I didn't mean to bring that up. And it's interesting because she might not have meant to say that. She got so caught up in the moment. And maybe she has been thinking about this stuff with Yaz. She's obviously aware of it. As, you know, her talking to Dan and Eva the Daleks kind of alluded to, she has to be aware of how Yaz feels. And obviously she has some kind of emotions. And she probably didn't even mean to say it, but since it was on her mind, it slipped out like a Freudian slip. And you can see her face kind of drop like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. That whole little bit there is nice. The bit when they're talking in the later in the ship when they're like, if it was anyone, it would be you. I enjoy that scene. When they're talking at the end, sitting on the beach, I think that's all really well done. Here's the thing. I don't mind them having a same-gender relationship because it makes sense that the Doctor would be interested in a female. I mean, think about it. The Doctor has always been a man before as far as her memories go because she only remembers being Hartnell forward. So she's always been a man. And the few times she's had romantic inclinations, she's been attracted to women. With River, potentially Clara. Rose. So it makes sense that just because she regenerates into a woman, her preference for a romantic interest wouldn't necessarily change. Look at it this way. Imagine, all the guys watching, imagine you wake up tomorrow and suddenly you're in the body of a female, like that movie Switch or whatever. You wake up, you're in the woman's body. Does that mean you automatically have to start being interested in men? No. You'd probably still be interested in women. You'd probably just be a lesbian. Let's be honest. It's probably the same thing here. You know, she's always been more interested in women from what we've seen in the history of the show. So it would make sense for her to still be interested in women. So that makes sense for me why she would be interested in Yaz. And that's fine. I'm not a big fan of the Doctor in relationships with companions anyway, but it's fine why she's interested in Yaz and all the people who are rabble. I think those scenes are handled well and well acted. I do. I do. I think they're strong points of the episode, to be honest. I enjoy Dan with that phone call with the girl from Flux that he likes. I can't remember her name. I liked her, and I thought it was such a good ending to Flux when she doesn't want to see him because of the events of Flux. Flux is up and down for me, but I enjoyed that scene when she's like, well, let's go for coffee. She's like, let's just kind of leave it. You know, and in her mind, she's like, you know, it's because you weren't there. I mean, it's not Dan's fault he wasn't there. There's no way he could have been there. And I think she knows, the woman knows there's no way he could have been there. But still, somehow in her mind, she's like, you weren't there and I went through all this traumatic stuff. Even though it logically doesn't make sense for her to blame him. But, you know, she's kind of, it seems like she's had time to heal. She's been thinking about him. I'm kind of glad maybe they're fixing things up and maybe they can get together because I really liked them together. They obviously care about each other. So I really enjoyed that. So there were definitely aspects I hear. Going back to when I was talking about past Doctor Who connecting with the Yaz thing and why the Doctor is hesitant to want to be in a relationship. This is also touched on in Classic Who in the Five Doctors. At the end, with how eternity is a curse. That's the whole point of the story, is eternity is a curse. At the end, when the first Doctor says, Rassilon realized, eternal life is a curse, not a blessing. That's the whole lesson, that eternal life is a curse because you see everyone else die. It's not living forever, it's watching everyone else die. And so that part of Five Doctors, that lesson of Five Doctors carries into this, I think, as well. So it has little things it does I like. One thing I don't like, that bit when Dan takes out like all the Cybermen with this weird, like, it's like, don't worry, I know some moves, and he goes like, boom, boom, and they all fall down, and they're like, where did you learn moves like that? I'm like, ha, ha. First off, he takes them all out with ha, ha, and there's no more to take out. Was that like all of them? Secondly, those are the moves, those are impressive moves. Well, apparently he's been watching Star Wars lightsaber training videos from Prowl 1701. Yes, I do have a Star Wars channel called Prowl 1701, where I, review lightsabers and stuff like that. And apparently he's been watching some of my videos when I'm doing saber spinning. Because if this is a master at swordsmanship back then, then look at Grandmaster Prowl. You can see some of my videos. I have a very, very secret technique I call swinging like a madman. Very effective, apparently. I would have smoked those Sea Devils with my weird, random swinging. Yeah, that scene's just so weird. It's just edited weird. There's like all these Sea Devils surrounding them. Ha! Ha! Oh, how did you get moves like that? Huh? Yeah, that was weird. That was really weird. Like I said, it's the story that doesn't make sense to me. The whole flying ship thing is weird. I'm like, that feels like it's there just to be a spectacle. I didn't really care for the female captain because her character's all over the place. I like the fact that the Kraken turns out to just to be a ship, because they've had a real Kraken, I would have been like, eh? Why didn't they use that later? But the fact it was a ship, very much from Terror of the Zygons here, makes more sense because we know the Silurians and the Sea Devils actually were pretty advanced. So that actually works for me. And I like when the Doctor first gets there and she's trying to figure out how it works. She's looking at the algae and everything. She's figuring it out. That's also a very Doctor thing to do. We're in danger. I got to know how this works, though. That's a very Doctor thing to do. I can see Smith or Tennant or Troughton or even Hartnell walking around. You imagine Hartnell there. I must talk to you, Doctor. Not now, my dear boy. I'm obviously looking around here. Yes, algae. I'm very clever. I see. I could see that. It's also a very Doctor moment for the 13th Doctor, and we're talking about a Doctor that doesn't get a lot of them, so that really works here. Yeah, I don't care for everything story-wise, but it has those moments. I like the visuals. I like that the 13th Doctor seems written more like the Doctor here. Whittaker's acting is better here. I like the stuff, especially between Dan and Yaz. I love their camaraderie. I enjoy those scenes with Yaz and the Doctor. And I love the classic Sea Devils look. It's just the stories. Like, overall, I give this okay. I think it overall okay. It's not bad. I don't think this is the massive bad story that a lot of people are reviewing it to be. I don't think it's like a masterpiece or super memorable or something with strong rewatchability really either. I can say I enjoyed watching it. I'll put it that way. I think it's better than Warriors of the Deep, but not as good as the Sea Devils. If I was ranking the 3 Sea Devil story, I have Warriors of the Deep at the bottom, Legends of the Sea Devils in the middle, and I think the Sea Devils, the original Sea Devils, is still easily the best one. That's how I would rank them. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Legends of the Sea Devils. I'm sure there's some stuff I meant to talk about that I have forgotten. I can't keep all of this in my head. But I would like to know what you thought of the episode and what you think of what I've said. If anything I've said has kind of struck a chord with you and made you go, I would love I would love to know if anything I've said in this video has swayed you in any way. I'm curious. So comment down below and let me know, because I really do always enjoy hearing back from you guys and getting your feedback. Other things to do while I have you here. If you do enjoy my content, I would ask that you click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I am constantly trying to grow the channel. My goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. I also have an Amazon wish list down in the links below as well, an Amazon UK wish list as well, and a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me, if you take a minute just to check that out. Most importantly though, thank you for watching.